want to thank you for staying with us for our continuing coverage of this coastal storm. And right off the top, we're going to take you outside of our studios here live in Portsmouth, where you can see we're not even at high tide yet, and we're already seeing almost 3 feet of water.
Yeah, that's already higher than it was on Friday. We are approaching high tide, however, and we have crews scattered throughout Hampton Roads and in North Carolina to bring you the latest on this coastal storm. Let's go over to the Super Doppler 10 Weather Center right now and figure out exactly what's going on and how it's going to impact you. And Don Slater and Ashley Baylor are there now. Hi.
Yeah, it's been a busy week or a week and a half throughout the area. I'm going to start out with what's going on with the tides that are underway.
We're going to kind of do a round robin of our reporters to see what's going on maybe near you, maybe near your family and friends. One area that we want to get to right now is Norfolk, where Tidewater Drive, the ramp there from Interstate 264, already closed on the eastbound side because of high water.
Yep, our Joe Fisher is live in it right now. And Joe, if you can hear us, it looks like he's standing in maybe what was a street. Joe, where are you exactly?
Well, Anita, Stephanie, right now we're at 19th Bay Street and Pleasant Avenue, and I can tell you here in Ocean View, this neighborhood is just a mess. I want to talk to this guy over here real quick. You just actually walked through this as we were getting ready to come on the air.
Yeah.
Coming up, you're wet up to your waist.
Yeah.
How high did it come up on
It's to my waist. It's to my waist. I walked out the front door. It's to my knees, and I just crossed. Yeah, it's to my waist. I've never seen anything like this before. I got to go to work. This is crazy.
We just had the fire department down here. The fire department actually just brought in a military-sized vehicle to try to get through this water, to try to get homeowners that are literally trapped inside their homes. They're coming outside, they're seeing this water that's up in the air. And these homes, we're on kind of the edge of where the water is. You can see these homes here. This gentleman already has water inside his home. He's getting a little bit inside his home. And over here, Carissa Davenport, she was telling me a little bit ago that she typically doesn't get water inside her home, but this is some of the worst you've seen, Carissa, right?
Yes, other than Sandy. With Sandy, I had 14 inches, and now we've got about 3 inches in our kitchen coming through the back door, and it's about to come in the front door.
High tide about a half hour away. Are you expecting this water here to come inside?
Yes, sir.
It's already in the back.
You plan to stay here through the storm?
Yeah, we'll stay here. We tough it out. We get everything up off the floor that we can to try to save everything. And so far, we've been able to make it pretty good.
She's at Bubba's, an area that's been flooded for days.
Absolutely. The last time we checked on Friday, the water was right outside. We're told it's already inside of the restaurant now. Deanna, what's the latest out there?
Yeah, you know, I just checked with a woman who works here, and she says right now it's actually not too bad inside, which is hard to believe. Look at this. I mean, you have waves coming up through the parking lot. And this, again, as I said a little while ago, is not the ocean. This is the Lynn Haven Bay, and it's coming in from the Chesapeake Bay, in from the Atlantic Ocean. So this is what that wind is causing. But, you know, it's a nuisance for everyone, but take a look at this dog. I mean, this dog has been running here now for a half hour, just loving the flooding.
Well, we have some serious issues just north of us in Kitty Hawk. I just got off the phone with Mayor Gary Perry of Kitty Hawk. He tells me that that stretch of road that actually washed out in April has started to wash out again from high tide. Much of the area looks just like this, underwater. Most of Highway 12 on Pea Island is overwashed. As you know, a lot of storms, it always happens where the overwash from the ocean comes onto Highway 12, so you have the issue with water and sand all on that stretch of road. I can tell you that North Carolina Department of Transportation, they've been out there with bulldozers trying to get all that sand off the road, but it's just going to continue to happen, especially as we get up to the next high tide. Now, getting back to Kitty Hawk, here's what happened. If you were with us throughout the week, we told you about that area, that is an area of concern.
And Liz Palka is here in Portsmouth, so give us an update on things.
Yeah, Anita and Stephanie, I am in the Craddock section of Portsmouth. I am on Kennedy Drive, and just take a look at this. I mean, the water is going way down Kennedy Drive. I've been talking to neighbors as I've been out here. One neighbor who is graciously letting us set up in her front yard said she just moved here. She had no idea that this street flooded so badly.
Or sending in your pictures and videos. And we do have a picture that we want to get to right now from Matthews County.
This is Port Haywood, and they sent that in to report it at WAVY.com. I'm not sure exactly where that is, but it looks like you can see the steps right out there in front of it. So water approaching the steps there at Port Haywood in Matthews County.
And I hear that the wedding has begun.
Hi, Anita. Hi, Stephanie. Yeah, the wedding actually just started as we're approaching high tide here. Joel's going to give you a shot right now of what you're looking at. This was what they put together throughout the morning. They said originally this wedding was supposed to be in Fort Monroe, but what ended up happening was the wind gusts were too high there. They said somewhere between 30 miles an hour to 40, so they found this spot right in Yorktown. As you can see, the only thing keeping the tide back from the wedding right now is that little dune right there with the dune grass. Now, in the meantime, the York River has been flowing out over the sand, and if there isn't dune grass, you can see it's overtaking the road here.
Pictures. Absolutely, and it looks like we are right at 3 feet out there, which is about maybe 6 inches above where we were when we started our coverage about an hour ago.
Yeah, so let's go to our team of meteorologists that are here to get us up to date on things. You said the high tide would be here at about 3:14, at 3:16 right now.
Yeah, it is, and we've been checking tidal gauges. Sometimes they're a little slow to report in, but we've got a pretty good idea of how we're doing. Tides are, the graphic says tides will be higher. Tides are higher than what we did see during the day on Friday. We want to run through things for you here real quickly. Ashley, what have we got for Sewell's Point? What's the reading for Sewell's Point thus far?
Well, so far we've seen Sewell's Point get up to 6.46. I'm just going to refresh our page here and just see if they gave us a latest update. That's pretty much where it has stayed. So 6.46 feet. When the final numbers come out, maybe a little bit closer to 6.5. So definitely worse than it was on Friday.
Yeah, it's the Lynn Haven Bay that's behind me, and it has pushed all the way up into this parking lot. I mean, there are literally waves kind of rippling through here, and as I keep saying, you know, that's not the ocean, that's the bay that this is coming off of. But I want to show you this. This is the storm drain. It's put here because this is a problem area, and it's supposed to be sucking all of this water out, but the flood level is just so high, it's overworked. I mean, the water is literally at the top. There no more water can fit into under this cover there to get into this storm drain. It's really just overworked at this point with all of this flooding. But I just, again, checked with people who work in Bubba's, and they say the floors are pretty dry in there. They say the water is getting under a few doors, but it's nothing dramatic.
Couple that was just determined to get married despite what was happening outside.
Yes, they said I do at high tide, and I understand that our Matt Gregory has snatched away the bride before her reception.
Yeah, we were here watching this unfold as the tide was coming up. It was the wedding that was going to happen, so I get to be the first to introduce them to the world, I suppose. It's Noelle and Ricky Wallace.
Yes.
Mr. and Mrs. Guys, why today you were so determined? What happened? How did you end up here?
Well, we started out at Fort Monroe. We were gonna use the beach there, and then turns out it was heavy winds there, so we figured, hey, we're already having the reception here, so let's just go with that. And then that like scratched our actual second backup plan, so this was like a third option, and then it just turned out great. God worked it out like perfectly.
Now, you were bound and determined to have a beach wedding, what all your friends were saying. What can you say? We were watching them set everything. What can you say about them?
Thank you so much. You guys are all incredible.
Yeah, just awesome. We couldn't ask for a better church family, a better group of friends and family to just come out and just sacrifice their evenings to come out and help us with everything. You guys are just amazing people, just so amazing.
Yeah, we're right in Ocean View on 19th Bay Street, right near the intersection of Pleasant Avenue. And I can tell you this neighborhood, you can see this truck coming out. He just tried to make it through a little bit of the water. Is not in good shape. We're seeing about 3 to 4 feet, probably waist deep on a lot of the people that have actually scattered, but they were walking through the middle of the road here, and some of them are there. You see, it looks like a police officer along with some neighbors that I was talking with. Not really sure what the police officer is out here for, but we do know the police were out here on Friday just really checking on the well-being of homeowners because this area is prone to flooding. You can hear that wind that is coming through here, and we just saw a car that actually came out of their home all the way down the street. They saw about a foot of water. They thought they could make it through. They got to that intersection where this police officer is, and as you can imagine, 4 feet of water. They ended up pulling over here and got stuck. Carissa, I want to talk to Carissa. And Carissa, tell me, this truck that came by a little while ago that we just saw, come over here for a second. The truck, actually, the waves from the truck pushed the water right into your home.
Yes, she spun out in the empty lot beside us. Water was just flying everywhere. And then she came out of our parking lot and went into another one. Now she's stuck over on the next street over in front of some duplex apartments.
She got stuck. She tried to reverse. She came a little farther. She got stuck again. I think I talked to her. She's going to be a little late for work today.
Jason, looks pretty windy where you are.
Well, yeah, we're here in Kitty Hawk, and we have a big problem on our hands. I'm going to step out of the way, and you can see it right there. That is the area of Highway 12 that washed out just months ago, and you can see that the dune has gone ahead and breached, and so has the road because of the high tide a little while ago. You can see a lot of the asphalt there on the edge is actually gone. I just talked to the police chief, Joel Johnson, here in Kitty Hawk. His main concern is that when the next high tide hits at 3 a.m., he's worried about that because he believes that will be an even worse high tide and more of that road will wash away. Now, they do have much of this stretch of Highway 12 closed for right now. I'm told that North Carolina Department of Transportation will be handling the cleanup of this. We have a very big scene around us. A lot of people standing around taking pictures of this.
Deanna, you're back up on the porch. So is the water going into the restaurant now, or is it kind of starting to go down a bit?
Well, that's exactly it. I'm looking all the way across the parking lot where there's a little bit of dry land still, and I can see the water's not quite getting up as high. But when you look here, it looks really, really dramatic. So I want to explain what's going on. Bubba's and the adjacent back deck, a really popular bar, have basically boat-side docks on the back where you can sit and eat and pull your boat up. So they're really underwater on the backside. But the difference is when you come up here to the front side, you can see the water's not getting in this door, and I'm peeking through this window. It looks okay in there. There are a couple of water spots. It looks kind of like if you spilled a bucket of water. Certainly not standing water. It's certainly not coming in from the back in any sort of dramatic fashion. And the employees have been here all day watching and waiting. They've gone in a couple of times with mops to start to try to get it ready. They say they are trying to get it open for dinner service, if at all possible.
Does it look any better?
Oh, no, it doesn't look better, at least not here in Craddock on Kennedy Drive. We've been here about an hour and a half, and this water just continues to rise. I'm so fascinated by Alvin Thompson's yard here and this entire setup. I mean, this is his garage. He has sandbags at the very bottom, then a barricade, then a layer of plastic. He also has hoses that are inside the garage, and they are pumping water out of his garage. I mean, he says he does this every time that there's a bad storm.
And thanks to Ashley over the weekend predicting these high tides. And of course, all week long we've been predicting high tides, and the highest one expected to be today, and it was.
Yeah, and actually I just got the final numbers. It sure enough was 6.5 feet at Sewell's Point, and it was exactly 6 feet in Yorktown.
There in Norfolk, the ramp to Tidewater Drive from Interstate 264 east in Norfolk is closed because of the high water. And also the Navy postponed deployments today for ships because of the weather that we had today. So Joe, tell us how things are looking, and do you still, oh, it looks like, goodness, it's almost to your waist there in this picture.
Yeah, Anita, Stephanie, we've been telling you all afternoon about this water all the way at this intersection of 19th Bay Street and Pleasant Avenue coming all up to our waist. This is Denise. She's coming up. We've been talking to her all morning. This is coming up to her waist right in the middle of the intersection. Denise, pretty high out here.
It is, and it's actually starting to go down some.
Are you used to this around here?
Yes, we're in a flood zone, so it happens all the time.
A little bit higher than normal, though.
Yes. It did not get into my house, luckily, but it has gotten into a few people's houses.
Very good. We talked to you on Friday.
Yeah,
it wasn't this bad on Friday, was it?
No, it was not near this bad. This is definitely a lot worse than we expected.
We're going to go off of the air in just a moment here, but we want to let you know that we're still available for coverage. We have full coverage on WAVY.com.
Absolutely, and if you are not at home, if you do get out, you can always see what's going on with our WAVY weather and WAVY news apps. They are free for Android and Apple users, and we will be back at 6 o'clock to give you the latest. One final shot there outside of our WAVY studios in Portsmouth, where it's still about 3 feet of tidal flooding. We'll be back at 6.
See you then.